Hey, what's up guys, Steven here and welcome back to another video, and today we're taking a closer look at the all-new Huawei Watch D2. Now, this smartwatch is medically certified to measure your blood pressure. Well, there are some smartwatches on the market also from big brands. They claim to measure your blood pressure, but if you read closer, they're not medically certified and the data will be inaccurate. Now, when it comes to health data, personally, my thoughts are it needs to be as accurate as possible. And this watch here is medically certified, gives you the most accurate data from a smartwatch you can get in terms of blood pressure. So let's have a closer look and let's check it out.
So guys, there we go. Here's the all-new Huawei Watch D2. And I think around a year ago, I could have a closer look at the Huawei Watch D, and I was really impressed that a smartwatch can actually measure your blood pressure, if you just remember how big blood pressure measurement devices usually are. And with the Huawei Watch D2, Huawei has not just stepped it up a little bit, they have taken it to the next level. Because what you can see right over here, this tiny, very thin and actually stylish smartwatch is medically certified to do automatic blood pressure measurements and even gives you a report, so it's really medically certified. Just this tiny thing. I was googling how those ABPM devices actually look like. They have a belt, you have to wear something on your arm. Those things are huge and uncomfortable and you have to wear this for 24 hours. But this is almost as accurate and you can wear it on your wrist, and this literally blew my mind. Alright, let me quickly show you what you find inside of the box, because it's very important to understand that to use the product correctly. Now, first of all, it depends on how thick your wrist is, so the wrist circumference. Now, there's a ruler included, as you can see, and with this ruler you can determine which strap you need to use. There are two straps included. There is M and large, like medium and large, and with that ruler you just put it around your wrist and will tell you which strap you have to use. If it's 5 to 11 it's M, if it's 12 to 20 it's a large one. Now, I have pretty thick wrists, so I'm using the large strap. Now, the strap is not just a normal strap, so if you have a closer look, you actually have here the air inlet, here even with two seals, so there's no air leak. And here you have the airbag, which basically just fills up with air to measure your blood pressure. I can show you how that looks like here on this strap. So here you can see the other strap, which is already attached to my watch, which I'm using now. And you can detach the airbag, and as you can see here, this here is the large one. And you can already completely remove it, because if it gets dirty here, now I've used it really all the time, and you see, well, it has some stains here. You can take it off for cleaning for sure, absolutely no problem. I usually just wipe it off with a cloth, and it snaps in here. And that is the large airbag, as you can see. So it's really important that you measure that correctly, and you measure the distance, actually the circumference, 2 or 3 centimeters here away from this part of your hand. All right, this is what is included, 2 straps, so this should fit everyone. And of course we have a charger as always, and that's basically it. There is nothing else that is complicated. Just the first time you use it, you should measure your wrist and use the correct strap. Now, that's what you can find inside of the box. Let's put it back in there and let's have a closer look at the smartwatch. And guys, there we go. Here is the watch. And the first time I saw it, I was like, damn, that's really amazing. Because if you just check out the design of the first Watch D, it didn't really feel that premium. So in terms of the whole design and style, Huawei has really improved the smartwatch. So for a medical device, it looks really, really fancy and really beautiful screen. But that's not everything. So there is more premium build quality and design. It is lighter, and also there's enhanced comfort, and also it comes with brand new colorways, because there's this black version, but also there's a gold white version. So basically devices that can monitor your health don't have to be ugly, and I think Huawei really nailed it here. But guys, why is measuring your blood pressure actually important? So while having a high blood pressure over the time can lead to various things. This whole thing is called hypertension. And this can cause a lot of issues. It can cause, of course, heart issues. It can cause even issues with your organs. It can cause issues with your eyes. Much like that, you are more likely to have a stroke if you have hypertension. So it's very important to at least get your blood pressure checked. But for people who have sometimes a higher blood pressure, this device makes really sense to keep a track on that. Especially as I'm an influencer, I have a lot of stress. I put in so much hours every week in my work. I got a little bit too much addicted to caffeine, nicotine and stuff like that, and I really noticed over some time my blood pressure was really high. Now I'm trying to get back on track, and with this watch it's really a kind of motivation if it tells you your blood pressure is okay. So here you can see my last measurement. Here the value was a little bit higher raised now, but it's still okay to what it has looked before. So if you have a potential risk for hypertension, this really helps to keep a track of your blood pressure. And also for older people, of course, which may have issue with the blood pressure, this can really monitor it the whole day, and you get all the information you need to react to that, or actually go to your doctor, show him the information so he can basically use the data to help you treating your symptoms. Now, before we have a closer look at the blood pressure monitoring, let me show you the watch and how it looks and feels like. So on this side, we now have a rotatable crown, just like on most other Huawei watches, and it also has haptic feedback. You can scroll here through the menu or pages. The down button here, by default, it goes to the blood pressure measurement. You can easily start to measure your blood pressure, but it's a customizable button. You can choose in the settings what you want to do with it. Now, the bezels, as you can see them right over here. They're not too thick, but as they are black here, you don't really notice them much. Then here we now have this nice chrome silver lining around it, and it just looks so much more premium than the initial version. Now here also a speaker, as you can see, watch also has a microphone. Then here the strap fastener is really smooth. Now the rubber strap also, I have to say, it's nice to clean. It just feels like those sport straps which I also have on the GT5 Pro. And let's have a closer look now at the sensor. So this watch is featuring Huawei's TruSense system, and it has been developed for faster and more accurate results. So we're talking here about greater than 98% heart rate accuracy, 5 beats per minute, then less than 2% SpO2 error, and for the blood pressure measurements we're talking about less than 5 ± 8 millimeters Hg accuracy. So this is fantastic for such a small device. And here you can see it once again on this side. So here goes in the lock for the strap, and here we have the hole which basically lets the air through to inflate the airbag. And the airbag has gone through more than 100 design revisions that they could make it that thin. I mean, look at this. It is incredibly thin. You don't notice it when you're wearing it. It just feels like part of the strap. And also here that valve with that seal. I mean, that is really engineering masterpiece. So and to put back the strap, as you can see, all you have to do is just make sure you find the lock and then just push it in like this, and it's super simple to even take off the strap in order to clean it. Really fantastic. Now guys, let's have a closer look at the watch and the user interface, and the home screen basically shows you already your latest blood pressure measurement and the graph with the heart rate, the time. So this is a pretty much health focused watch, so this is all the information you basically want to see. But if you want something different, as you can see, you can customize it. And also, of course, if you don't want to see that at all for some time, you can switch to a regular watch face, and you can download watch faces also in the Huawei Health application. So as you can see, there are many, also some animated. You can have your own picture, or you just have your latest health data on there. Now, if you swipe here, you can see, for instance, the new widget here with the blood pressure measurement. So the last measurement I took, I had it a bit elevated, as you can see, but I'm also doing right now an automatic blood pressure measurement, which I am 56% through. What this is basically doing is 24 hours, it will measure the blood pressure every 30 minutes or whatever time you put in there. I will later show you how you can configure that. And it is fantastic because it even measures your blood pressure when you're sleeping, and it is really not noisy. My wife usually wakes up with everything, but she didn't hear anything. It's up to 61% quite compared to traditional automatic blood pressure measurement devices. So let's check out here this other graph. So here you can see an overview of all your things. Also here stress monitoring. You can see, for instance, here also your sleep data, how much you slept. Here your SpO2, you can see a heart rate graph, here your activity records throughout the whole day. I don't want to go too deep in there, but it's all customizable. You can set your goals as you want to. And you have plenty of widgets here, which you can also customize, so you can even add more widgets. For instance, you can remove the moon phase if you don't want to, anything else. And in here you find a lot of widgets that make sure you see all the data you want to as fast as possible. All right, now let's have a closer look here at the menu, and let me show you the new thing, this automatic blood pressure monitoring. So for today, let's end the plan. I was just doing the test here. We'll end it anyway. And here you can see a graph, for instance. I started yesterday before going to sleep. It was monitoring my blood pressure here. So overnight, it's usually lower. I was reading that's normal. Then I had some spike here for whatever reason. And then I had pretty much normal blood pressure throughout the day. But you can see here in the graph, you can see if there are abnormalities. For instance, in the night, you can see if you have an elevated blood pressure over some time. I think if you have single spikes, well, I guess this could be normal, but what a doctor can say, basically, he sees some trends in there. If you do that for 2 or 3 days in a row and it's always like this, then there could be a problem, you know. It's really good because it's collecting a lot of data. It's not punctual data just once a day. It can collect the data the whole day, and this makes it much more easier to diagnose things correctly. I guess I'm not a doctor, but that's at least what I guess, because data nowadays is everything. You can see also the 24 hours average blood pressure, which was 111 to 75. I guess that's okay. My daytime average, which is 118/78, and my nighttime, which is pretty low. And also I sleep very, let's say, very tight. I don't wake up for anything. Maybe that's because it's that low. I have no idea. But it's very, very interesting what you find out from your own body when you're wearing this device for 24 hours. So if you want to start the monitoring plan like this, you can choose your daytime and your nighttime. For instance, the nighttime, you can just put in the time when you go to sleep, when you wake up, and you can say, measure my blood pressure, please. I need to go to modify here. Measure my blood pressure, please, in the daytime, even every 15 minutes. And you can do it up to every 60 minutes, because it should be at least once per hour, because I think for an 8 BPM you need at least 20 successful blood pressure monitorings throughout a whole day. But you can do it much more often. And also for the nighttime, you can set here when you go to bed, and also when it should measure it, every 15, every 60 minutes, whatsoever. Now let's talk about the battery life for this, because this is a process that takes, of course, a lot of battery, because it has to pump up this thing here to a high pressure, and the battery life is crazy. Yesterday, like more than 24 hours ago, I just took this watch and I was playing around with normal blood pressure, and I was doing it at least 10 times. Then in the night, I started the 24 hours blood pressure monitoring, and now at the next day we had 71%. I don't know how this is possible. So I think for even if you use automatic blood pressure monitoring every hour, this lasts you a few days. This is absolutely crazy. Yeah, let's go back here to the automatic blood pressure monitoring. So in here, as I've told you, then you will get all your reports, but also all those reports will be in Huawei Health. And here you have all those records again, so you can quickly show it to your doctor from every single measurement. But also, of course, you have it in Huawei Health, so it's a little bit more easier to see than just on the watch. So this is really fantastic. It is super simple to use, and I'm just really surprised how they managed to kick this off. Now here you have the normal blood pressure monitoring. So this is basically on spot measuring. If you want to measure, you just go in there and you start measuring. Of course, in the settings, you have to make sure your wrist circumference is set to the correct strap. This is really important, and you can switch the units, but here we use millimeters HG and not kilopascals. But yeah, this is also in there. So now let's talk about how to actually measure your blood pressure. Of course, you should be sitting still and not just jumping around, so you cannot move during the blood pressure measurement. If you move it, I can show you that, then it will actually tell you to sit still because it will detect it. So now it is adjusted. It should not be too loose and it should not be too tight. That's very important. And it should be around 2 centimeters away here, like this, yeah. To measure your blood pressure, actually you should sit down and put your hand up to your heart and support your elbow with your other hand. It's a little bit of a weird position, I would say, but you get used to that really fast. Now, if I try to measure, I can show you how that looks like. You see here how you should basically sit, and you should also not talk during that. And yeah, I was using now an incorrect position on purpose to show you what happens. It is a super smart watch because every time I was using it in an incorrect position, it will tell you to try again. Now, for sleeping, of course, it depends, you know, you're not sleeping in a fixed position. Of course you turn, but somehow it is also measuring and it works and gets a valuable output. But it will give you a reminder. It finishes the measurement, but will tell you you were not in the correct position, so please try again. So you should always make sure you're using the recommended position in order to measure your blood pressure. And also, as I'm not a doctor or a health scientist, I cannot tell you too much about the actual accuracy testing in hand. I only had a normal blood pressure monitor at home. I was comparing the readings. I was doing the readings one after each other, and they were pretty much accurate. Of course, plus minus, you have some tolerance, but it didn't show something high, something low. So it was conclusive, and I would say it really replaces my blood pressure monitor, and I can trash this thing because it also has to be calibrated, those units. And the thing is, it's a few years old already. So can you trust those things? I would more trust this watch with the blood pressure measurements. Now guys, that's regarding blood pressure monitoring. Really amazing. We'll have a closer look at the app just in a second. Anyhow, it's still a regular Huawei smartwatch and doesn't really differ from any of their other smartwatches, even for workouts. Also, you have all your notifications in there, as you can see. So that's really awesome. Here at the top, once again, all the functions you also find on the GT series. And if you go here to the menu, you also have all those apps you can usually find on other Huawei smartwatches like the GT series. Just on special on this one is just the automatic blood pressure monitoring and the blood pressure monitoring right over here. Other than that, you still have things like skin temperature. You still have things like stress monitoring, and today I really had a tough day, so my stress is a bit up. Also, as you can see right over here, we have the workouts. So basically you have the same like on other watches. Just on this watch, on the GT series, there's a new golf mode. On the D2, of course, you don't have the golf mode, but it's more health-orientated smartwatch than a lifestyle product. You have continuous SpO2 monitoring, you have continuous heart rate monitoring, you have sleep tracking. So basically with this watch, you can get a full health report from all the things that is nowadays with this technology possible to measure, which is pretty cool. And here you have this quick health check. So if you press measure here, it will take your blood pressure, your heart rate, SpO2, etc., and give you a report. I can show you how such a report looks like. Here we have the health glance report, no abnormalities. You can see here weight, etc. You can see my average heart rate. You can see my blood pressure. You can see my SpO2. You can see my stress, skin temperature, the ECG function. Of course, this watch also has ECG, shows that there are no signs of AFib, and also the arterial stiffness. So everything normal, and it's really mind calming if your watch tells you, hey, everything's okay with your body. If you feel weird, it's pretty cool. Now, I want to show you also the ECG function, so that actually should be here. So ECG is basically the same functionality which you also find on the GT series. So you put on your smartwatch, and sometimes you need to make your finger a little bit wet for the electrode to get a better contact. And as you can see, now it's taking an ECG. And some people asked me if you get the ECG data right away after the test, and yes, you do. You don't need any subscription. You don't need any other things. Yeah, you should also hold still and don't speak during the ECG, but let's see the outcome. So, and there we go, you get straight the result, average beats per minute. You see here no signs of AFib or premature beats. And yeah, this is pretty mind calming if you know everything's all right. The really nice thing is that also for the night, it can do your sleep tracking while it does the automatic blood pressure monitoring. So you have your sleep data combined with your blood pressure data, which is also probably kind of interesting for doctors. You can also see the respiratory rate, your breaths, you can see your heart rate, you can see your blood oxygen, and you get a lot of data in there, which you can also find in Huawei Health. So especially for things which are hard to diagnose, I think that night data is really interesting. Now, in terms of connectivity, it comes with Bluetooth and NFC. There is no Wi-Fi and there's no eSIM, but well, that's a trade-off for having that great battery life. Now, let's have a closer look here. So you can, under Bluetooth, you can connect Bluetooth headphones, like for instance, Huawei FreeBuds. You can connect it to a treadmill, for instance, for the data. You also have NFC in there for the regions where Huawei Wallet is supported. And the down button, as you can see, it's customizable. There's also heart rate data broadcast, so you can get your heart rate from a third-party Bluetooth device. And yeah, other than that, this watch is also running Harmony OS, the latest version right now. So that's basically it. Other than that, I don't need to show you all the basic simple applications because it's the same like on other Huawei smartwatches. If you're interested, I have much more videos on that topic. Now I would say let's go for a ride and let's see how the GPS capabilities and if this watch is also sufficient for doing regular workouts.
So guys, it's now time for another outdoor test and we'll do another workout on the watch. And let's check it out. So we should have outdoor cycling. Let's check out the GPS performance. So it's now trying to find a GPS signal and it found it already. But today is a beautiful clear sky day. And now... workout started. Yeah, let's go for the workout. So we're now going the same route like in the video of the GT5 Pro. It's a quite good test route because we can actually see if GPS overlap, how big the error is. And yeah, now let's go. So here again, that was the area where the trees basically cover the sky a bit. Let's see how the GPS performance is here on the D2. But so far, looking quite good. So guys, test round completed. It should be 3 kilometers on the clock at 2.96. So yeah, that's pretty accurate. Now I'll go part of the same way back, just like in the previous video, and see how the ways overlap. And then I would say we're good for the GPS performance test.
So guys, we're now back in the studio. Let's have a closer look at the GPS performance. So result kind of similar to the Huawei Watch GT5 Pro. We can see here the result of the GT5 Pro. This was the D2. Let's quickly compare it. Now, I was really amazed by the GPS performance of the GT5 Pro because there was just so little error and it was so close to the actual route. On the D2, it's kind of similar. You know, there is not such a big difference. personally think there may be a little bit more error on the D2, because there were some ways like here and here that looked more off than on the GT5 Pro. But nevertheless, as you can see, even if you have a bit of error, the difference here is just 100 meters. So also the D2 is perfectly fine for tracking your activities. There are over 80 workout modes, I think a few less than on the GT series. But anyhow, it's a perfect smartwatch also to take it outside for a workout. You get all your data here as well, as you can see. Basically same details, heart rate, etc. And also the strap for doing workouts. Now, as it's this kind of rubber strap, you know, it's perfectly fine to do workouts with the smartwatch. Also, it's waterproof, so you can wash it off after, so that's no problem at all, as long as, you know, the seal is in there. And yeah, really nice smartwatch, even for taking it for your workouts. Now, I just want to come back to the waterproof rating. So it has an IP68 rating. I mentioned waterproof, but then I just checked in here. There is no water sports in there. Then I was reading a little bit more, and yes, it has an IP68 rating, but it's actually not designed to be submerged in water, to taking it to the pool, etc. Yes, I took shower with the watch. Yes, it was no problem, but still, you know, it has this hole where the airbag goes into. There's a seal inside, and it's kind of medical device, so it's not really designed to be a watch that you use for any kinds of water sports. But for regular workouts, so if you're sweating, it gets wet or something like that, that's absolutely no problem at all, because it has the IP68 standard. Now guys, let me show you the data now on the phone in Huawei Health. I'm showing you this on an iPhone because I want to show you that Huawei smartwatches, they are not only working with Huawei devices, because many people said, well, I need a Huawei smartphone. For health data, it's absolutely not true. You have the same functionality across all kinds of devices. Doesn't matter if it's an iPhone, any other Android device, or Huawei smartphone. So let's have a closer look. Now, first of all, to sync your data, all you have to do is just swipe down. It's syncing the data, and in real time, you have all your data and reports ready. Here you can see an overview of your activity. You can switch here back to the activity rings if you like that more. You have here a bunch of new things also, just to show you. There's a Stay Fit plan and even premium courses which you can book. As you can see, there's a plan which helps you to reach your, for instance, weight loss goal, or to be more healthy. Or even in here, there are courses like, for instance, weight loss courses. So let me just load it. And there you can see plenty of courses in there for exercises. So really cool stuff. So for people who maybe don't have so much experience with the app, maybe have a closer look. You can see also all your exercise records, heart rate data, sleep data here. And if you go in there, you have plenty of more data in terms if you're interested in that. I would suggest you guys to also watch a review of a more scientific review that goes deep into all those things like sleep tracking and accuracy and stuff like this. I want to actually go to the blood pressure because that's the key feature on this watch. And here in Huawei Health, you have a lot of great data. First of all, a graph from the measurements. So here you can see the measurements taken from me. You can see also if there were irregularities, because this can, of course, happen. But you need to be careful, because if you see a symbol like this, you see measurement error, because of course, when you're sleeping, you could move and stuff like this, so the position is not that right, so it could give you a wrong result. It will finish the measuring anyway, but just include that little disclaimer that it was actually a measurement error and the results could be inaccurate, which I think is true, because I don't think I had hypertension now for a short time while my blood pressure was the whole day okay. But this is all for trends. You see, you wear it more days and you compare it, and then you can actually see what's going on, because if that repeats, maybe there's something. And this is what makes it so unique, because you are getting data all the time, which results probably in some more accurate diagnosis. Now for the automatic blood pressure monitoring, it is super sophisticated, because you're getting here a whole report with a table, daytime, nighttime, within 2 hours of waking, how it develops. It is really great, and you can even share that report. You can save it as a PDF, or you can print it, take it to your doctor. That is really, really cool, because you have all that information. For that, you actually need a really big automatic blood pressure monitoring device that is very uncomfortable to wear. But here, everything in there, of course, with some disclaimers sometimes, as you have seen before, for those irregularities here. So I'm not worried right now, but I would just repeat the test and see if that also repeats, you know, to get some trends. And this is the whole thing about that. Get as much data as you can, as much accurate data as you can, because it's a medically certified device, and that leads then to proper diagnosis without a lot of room for error. Nevertheless, you can also add manual records if you use another machine, for instance. You can put that in here into the graph, and also here, you can start the blood pressure measurement from the app if you want to, but that's not really needed because you can do everything on the watch as well. Also here you can see there is health goals, so you can set a lot of things in there. Of course, you have also the SpO2 monitoring, weight management, the heart rate data graph, and everything in there. So it is pretty fantastic. Now, talking about extra functionality and features, because some people will definitely ask about that. If you go in here, you have more watch faces to download here. And in there you can see some watch faces are paid, some watch faces are free, but honestly I'm pretty happy with the ones that are pre-installed on the watch, but there's plenty for you in there to customize your experience. Now, what this watch doesn't have, at least on iOS devices, is an app gallery to push additional apps to the smartwatch. This is not in there, neither the wallet function, but other than that, the functionality on iOS is pretty much the same like on Android, just I will show you in a second. Now, as always, let me show you how Huawei Health looks on Android or here on a Huawei device like the P60 Pro. So everything the same like I've shown you already on iOS. Also that premium courses and plans, there's a 3 months trial included when you buy the watch, so you can check it out. Then here, pretty much the same things. Everything actually the same, just more features, as I will show you in a second. Now here we have the Huawei Watch D2. Now also you can manage your notifications here. You can also do that on iOS. The only difference, for instance, also to the GT5 Pro is that even though it's a new Huawei watch, the notifications, they don't have the keyboard input, so you cannot reply with custom messages on the D2, but notifications work really fine. On Android devices or here on a Huawei device, you have the feature of the app gallery. That means it's opening up the app gallery store, and with that you can push specific applications which are in there. So just a few here, it's a bit less than on the GT series. For instance, Spotify control, I can just hit the install button and it will install it on the watch. Now, this is improving, so I guess there will be also more apps later, but here you can also update, for instance, the apps that are already installed, like pedal maps, etc., etc. Now, regarding wallet, as you can see, this function isn't available in my region, but maybe there are regions where payment is supported, so make sure to check that out on the Huawei website. All right, regarding other things, that's basically it. You still have quick replies in there, so that you can do, but there is no keyboard input option. And other than that, watch faces are also here, so pretty much the same like on the iOS version I've seen you before, just a few extra features, as you can see here: music, app gallery, Huawei wallet, etc. Alright guys, so we're now here at the end of this review of the brand new Huawei Watch D2. My personal opinion, well, I'm mind blown. Now, honestly, there are a lot of smartwatches on the market that claim to do a lot of things, but if you have a closer look on how they work and with what accuracy they work, those things are pretty much useless. If you have inaccurate data, with my personal health, I would not trust something that is just guessing numbers. And Huawei is doing a really good job because also medically certified, just to say it again. You get accurate results on your blood pressure, something really important. Other than that, you still get a smartwatch like any other Huawei smartwatch that can do sports tracking, that has notifications, that has all this functionality, great battery life. So I'm actually really impressed that devices that really properly check your health don't need to be ugly and expensive anymore. So what Huawei is bringing to the market here, I think, is a big game changer for the industry. So if you're into monitoring your blood pressure as accurate as possible, have a closer look. Fantastic, absolutely mind blown. What is your opinion? Write it down below in the comments.
If you want to have more information on the watch, make sure to check it out down below for latest deals and best price. So have a nice day and see you in the next one. Bye!